And our in-depth coverage continues now in studio with WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi. Tone of the debate, as we all know at this point, got tense in many ways last night. We did get several quotable moments that you just heard Jared Pliner touch on a little bit, but what are your big takeaways from last night, Ted?
Well, the number one has to be what we led the program with, the telecast this hour, which is Donald Trump's comments about potentially not accepting the results of the election. There is a long history, centuries really, of American democracy, of presidential candidates saying, we had the vote, I didn't win, I'm letting my opponent go on. It's possible that's just bluster on Trump's part, and as you mentioned, you're already seeing some of his supporters and surrogates say he's going to accept it. There's not going to be a big deal. But it does make you wonder a little what happens on November 9th if, as the current polls show, Hillary Clinton is ahead of Donald Trump. All
right, well, we're going to take a closer look at some of these clips here about these heated exchanges they had. The candidates, as we know, didn't shake hands before or after, and they also had some pretty cutting remarks in between.
My Social Security payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security trust fund that he choked, and then got into a Twitter war because the Mexican president said, we're not paying for that wall.
All right, so your thoughts on that?
Well, that's the kind of rhetoric we've heard from these candidates a lot. This has been a pretty negative campaign. Most campaigns get negative, but this is really up there. But on the other hand, I would say moderator Chris Wallace got more substance into this than maybe we heard in the first two, particularly in the first half of the debate. Jared Pliner's fact check there, we heard clear differences between two of them on guns, on abortion, on the Supreme Court, on the economy. So for a voter who was really listening for issues, I think they could have gotten a sense that they're going to go in different directions on that. But I'd say the second half kind of devolved back to what we saw in the first two debates. A lot of attacks, a lot of, Trump's taxes, Hillary's emails, those topics that have come up over and over and over.
Yeah, and in the second half, we did see the candidates talking over each other a great deal as well. Those viewers and politicians, praise the moderator for, as you said, keeping it going and keeping a real conversation happening last night. And here's a sample of that.
He always is looking for some
Chris, we don't gain anything.
He has all the
Iran is taking over Iraq.
Secretary Clinton.
She doesn't like Putin because Putin has outsmarted her at every step of the way. Excuse me. Putin has outsmarted her in Syria. He's outsmarted her every step of the way.
I'm not a potted plant there, I think.
We missed that part.
Yeah. Again, this kind of thing, I think, drives a lot of voters nuts, right? They have you have children, Danielle. It sounds like your kids probably fighting at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's a reason this happens, because if you let your opponent get the last word, they might pick up some voters. And whether you're Donald Trump, who's behind and needs to catch up, or Hillary Clinton, who needs to make sure she maintains the lead she has now, they just can't allow the other one to get too much of an advantage on any topic, and that's why you end up with scenes like that, even if, to be honest, I don't know how much the voters actually get out of it.
Right. Well, stakes are high for both of them. It was their final one. So, Ted, thank you so much. We're going to be hearing plenty more from you and our other political watchers as the election season continues. But again, we are in the home stretch. 18 days now until Election Day. We'll keep you up to date on every key race and the important issues you need to consider before you cast your ballot on air. And of course on our website as well, including on our Newsmaker debate series, which continues this weekend with two candidates for Cranston mayor.